Hello guys, and welcome back to part 2 of how to make a high-end mains cable. Basically in the first video we showed you how to make the whole cable up. Now we're going to be putting the nylon braid on, the heat shrink and the plugs on the end. I felt in the last video I didn't really do enough close-up shots of it, so I'm going to just give you a recap of what I've done and show you some close-ups of the mains cable. Okay then, well first of all we started off with our conductor material, which is a 0.315 silver cladded copper conductor, and basically we cut 8 lengths of that. We was making a metre length cable, so we twisted those together and it gave us a conductor size of 2.52. So then we covered it, the conductor, in PTFE tape, 2 layers, and then we covered it in our heat shrink. So basically we made 2 up. I made one prior to the video to speed the video up, which was the black conductor, which was the neutral, and the live one that I made on the video, and basically we just indicated it with our red and black heat shrink. So then what we did is we cut open our cable to our stock cable to get out our earth wire, and the reason we do that is purely because it's easier for you guys to go out and just buy a piece of mains cable and just slice it down and take the earth wire out, opposed to having to buy meterage of earth wire, which is going to get expensive. And it's the same with the other stuff. So basically what we done after that is we then twisted our three wires together. And the idea of that is it's to reject radio frequency information. And then after that, then we use some aluminium foil tape, and then we've used a copper braid over the top. Now the aluminium foil tape also helps to reject radio frequency information, and so does the copper braid, and basically it's a 2 screening process. Now basically, the reason why I also said buy yourself a piece of coaxial cable, and it was the Van Damme one that I put on the screen is the best one to buy, is basically you can just buy a metre of that. Then you don't have to buy rolls and rolls of aluminium foil tape and copper braid. Okay. Right, okay, in the first video we was going to try to use the braid off of the iron cord cable, but we couldn't get it off. I mean, I have used it before, but for some reason that one wouldn't come off. So we're going back to our nylon braid with the silver through the middle. So basically, as you've seen in the other videos of ours, we're just going to thread it through, bit fiddly this bit, making sure the conductors don't get stuck in there on the as we go through there. There we go. Just feed it through. This gives this a very nice finish. I'll take it up to about there, and then we're going to chop that end off there with our scissors. And then we're going to push it. We're going to pull that back very slightly, because what we want to do is we just want to singe the end of the braid with a soldering iron, otherwise this braid will start fraying at the end a bit. So we're just going to melt the end of that up a little bit there, like so. Right, leave that to dry for a second. Okay, then we're going to just carry on threading that through a bit more. Go take that there. Right, okay, we're not going to push that right up yet, because now we've got our we've got the braid that we put on, our copper braid, is we thinned it down, and basically we twisted it. So that's going to run beside the earth, and it's going to go into the earth connector on our plug. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of black heat shrink over it, just so it doesn't touch any wires inside or anything. We don't want a bare wire being left inside the plug. So we're going to pop over a piece of heat shrink over the end there, thin piece. Push that right up there, down. And we're going to have to shorten this anyway, but we'll put that on for now, and we'll just shrink it down with our heat gun. Right, there we go, that's nice and neat. Put that down there. Now we're going to just push this up a bit more, this braid to the end there, so we get to about there. Okay, as you can tell, this cable's getting quite thick now, and we've still got to get it in the plug. So we're going to now put some heat shrink over the top of it, just to hold the braid in place and just give it a nice finish at the end. So we've popped over. I'll give you the sizes of this heat shrink. Okay, we just need. Okay, the heat shrink that we're putting over is a 20mm heat shrink. Okay, so we're going to pop that over, and then we're going to just use the heat gun to shrink that down. Okay, we'll take it up to about there. There we go. Heat that up. You've got to really be careful with nylon braid with a heat gun, because it can melt it. So we're trying to just keep it away from there. Now I'm going to push that down the end here. We're going to do the same on this end. We'll cut a smaller piece. We're just going to pop that over there. Try to, when you're cutting heat shrink, try to get it fairly square looking. It just gives you a better finish at the end of the day. Makes your cable look a bit more professional. So it's a slightly smaller piece at this end. We don't need it to be so long. Right, there we go. Right, so that's done. So now we're going to turn our attention to the plugs. Now, first of all, we're going to turn our attention to the MK Tough plug. Now, this one we've purchased, it's silver plated. So all the pins are silver plated, and so is the earth. So we're going to undo it. I'm going to show you the inside of it. Basically, it has a silver plated Bushman fuse inside that I always use in these in MK. Bushman tends to be the best of the stock fuses you can buy. They basically, a lot of the fuses now, they seem to just be using nickel plating on them, but these ones are still using silver plating on them. So just pull that off, get that off of there. Right, okay, so that's our fuse there. Actually, this is an SME fuse in this one, so that it isn't a Bushman fuse, it's an SME one, but it's still silver plated on the ends. So basically, these are our live, and that's where the fuse goes into. So basically, what we're going to be doing is we've got some silver polish, and we're going to polish all the terminals first inside the plug. So basically, we've got some cotton buds here. We're just going to put a piece of silver polish on the cotton bud, just to give it a little bit on there like that. And basically, we're going to clean all the fuse holder first with that. We don't go too mad on it because it's only plated silver. It's just taking off the oxidization on there, where it's oxidized over time being in the inside the plug. So just a tiny little bit of it there. See, you can see on the cotton bud where the black's coming off. It's just where silver goes. When you polish silver, you get a black after. So I'm going to use a piece of kitchen towel just to clean that off of there. Okay, so that's nice and neat there. Okay, we're going to fit that back in. I'm going to do the same to the other piece there. Just do. Okay, we won't bother cleaning the insides of the of where the wire screws into, because we're going to solder those in. So it's always best to solder your wires in. Gives you a better connection. Right, okay, that's done nicely now. It's all buffed up, so that's that. So then what we do is we turn our attention to the actual fuse itself. So again, we're going to use a bit of silver polish on some kitchen towel. And this piece here now, we only really want to just give it one little or a couple of little turns on there, because the plating's very thin on these. So we just do that because we want to take off the oxidization on the end of it, where it's oxidized and that. And then we want to just buff this up now. Right. Okay, so we've buffed up the fuse. It's come up really nice and shiny. So then we're going to pop that back into place. Actually, we won't. We'll leave that out for a minute because we need to start putting our wires in there. Now, there's another thing we need to do also, is the wire is now quite chunky. And if you look at the strainer bit of the plug there, that's not going to fit in there very easy. So we're going to have to chop that down, because that's going to be really tight getting that in there. We don't want to crunch the wire up too much. So basically, we're going to use a knife. Oh, we've got the knife here, sorry. There we go. We're going to just push our knife down. This is be really careful with this, because you don't want to cut yourself. So there we go. Just going to chop a bit of that away, the casing. You find with all audiophile wires, if you're trying to get them into a UK mains plug, it's very difficult without chopping some of the casing away. So we'll cut that back a bit there, and we'll also do that on the other side as well. Remember, it's really, the plastic tends to be quite brittle, so it seems to snap away a bit. Right, okay, so we're doing that. Let's see how that goes now. We'll chop that away, so we get our plug there. Let's see how that fits into there. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, so now we need to start fitting our wires in place. Right, okay, now I'll push the cable into place now. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to offer it up to the plug, so we know we've got to chop the live down a bit because it's too long. So I'm just going to mark it with a knife at the moment there. Now the neutral is just about the right size. It could do with being a tad small. I think it will just go in there. So if you can see that there. Okay, so then what we're going to do, we're going to take this out now, and we're going to chop down the live just with a pair of scissors, or you can use a pair of pliers and that. So just chop that off like so. Okay, and now we're going to have to chop it back a bit more there with the so we can then solder up the end of it again. Use some wire strippers here just to pull that off. Because it's PTFE tape on the end, you've obviously just got to unravel all that first. Right, okay, we trimmed our live wire down. So now what we want to do is we want to solder the end up a bit of that, because it'll help it when we solder it into the plug itself. So we just take our soldering iron, run a little bit of solder along there, which is great. Right, okay, so that's that piece done. So we know we've got our neutral wire in the right place. So now all we've got to do now is we now need to sort our earth wire out, which is going to go underneath, hopefully, or it may be. There we go, get it underneath there. We want to get that into about the right place, which is about there. Okay, and we're going to chop that off. Pair of scissors. And along with that, we need our braid wire as well. So we're going to push that about the same, and then we're going to chop that off as well. Okay, so what we need to do now is just take that out and strip those off. And then we're going to solder those up. We're going to push the two together and solder them up together. So get our wire strippers there, put that on. Let's see where we've got that set. That needs to go around a bit. That's it. There we go. So we're going to leave that like that, and then we're going to get our other bit now and twist it together after we've stripped it off. So we strip that off of there. This one keeps on moving. This isn't very good. Okay, get it round to there. Right, okay, that doesn't want to work on there. Hang on, turn it around there. That's that. That should do. If not, we'll have to. It's a bit too small for those, so we'll have to just cut it with our. Just pull it off by hand. Right, let's blend it up, breaking that a little bit. Right, just go again. Right, okay, so we're going to twist these together and go push that back in, just pull it out a bit. Okay, now we're going to solder these two wires together, the earth and the braid at the end there. So we'll get that up like that and get our silver solder. There we go. That's it, that's gone perfect. Right, okay. So now what we've got to do now is we've got to fit them in the plug now. So basically we're going to fit our braid in, our earth in first, and with the braid wire. So we're just going to release the screw there, pull that up a bit, take that round. We're going to fit that into there. What we're going to fit it all in dry first, and then we're going to solder them in afterwards. Okay, that's that one. And then we're going to put in our neutral, which we'll pull up. Just to pop up. There you go. Some little plastic bits that keep it down there. So we're going to undo that one. This is quite fiddly, this bit, so you'd have to just have patience with it. That's up there. I'm going to press that in, to push that in. That needs to come up a little bit more, that screw, which is quite tight. Right, okay, that's in. Tighten that down. Right, okay, and then we're going to put our fuse holder on there. Let's just make sure that we've got that in the right place. Flatten that up. As I say, this bit is quite fiddly, so you need to really have a bit of patience on fitting it in. And that goes onto there like that. So we're going to push that down there. Very difficult to me to show this in the video. My fingers in the way. I can only hold it down. As you can see that there. There we go. See if we can. Just want to nip that up slightly. Screw that up. Tighten it up. I'll show you what it looks like once I've done it. Right, that didn't go on that time. So I say it's very fiddly, this piece. So let me just put that onto there like so. Hold that down like that for a minute. No, doesn't want to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these out first, because I can't really do it inside the plug that easy there. Let's get that right in there like that. That's it. That's better. There we go. Right, so that's in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solder all these in Now they're all out like so, we're going to solder all the pins in. So basically I'll put a piece of kitchen towel down there, and then I'll show you how to solder them in. This is going to get very hot, these pins, so don't touch them afterwards for a bit. Okay, so we're going to put our solder into there. There we go. Get it in the end. You have to hold it on there for a while because the solder needs to heat up on the pin. There we go, nearly there. Okay, that's that one. So I need to just lift that up a bit, that one up, to be able to see that. Being silver plated, it helps it the solder stick easier. And we are using silver solder as well. So I'm going to put that inside there. I need quite a bit in there. There we go, that one's soldered in. Basically this will just give you so much better connection once it's soldered than just screwed in place, and it won't ever move either. You have to hold it on for quite a while to make it stick. You'll see it will just melt over, and there it's going now. There we go, that one's done. That one's alright, they're still red hot there now. So basically we're just going to leave that to cool down for a second, and we'll be back in a minute. Right, okay, this is cooled down enough for me to touch now, so we're going to push our earth pin back in place first. That's it. Then we're going to push our neutral back into place. It's still a little bit hot still. Right, I have to push that down with our screwdriver on top of the screw there. There we go. That's in. Make sure that's right down. That's it. That's right down. Okay. And now we want to push our live into place. Okay, I'm going to push our cable into the strainer bit there, and into the clamp. Right down into there, and that into there. Okay, now we want to just push our wires down. These plugs have got so many little bits of plastic inside them to keep cables in place, but they're not designed really for fitting in a wide cable or such a large diameter cable. So we'll have to sometimes modify it slightly by cutting some of the plastic away, which is fine. It works quite well because we've soldered it all in. There you go. The whole lot's in place now there. Before we put the fuse in, we're just going to check that the top of the plug fits okay. There we go. That's all fitting nicely. So we'll take that off. And now we're going to just, without touching it with our fingers, we don't want to put any grease from our fingers onto it, so we're going to push our fuse back into place again. Now, in my own cables, my own mains cables, which I've made, I am using audiophile fuses in there, which I'm going to get to in another video. But as this video is taking quite a long time at the moment, I won't even try to explain about those. So basically, that's that. If you can see, we've got our live all soldered in place, we've got our neutral all soldered in place, and we've got our earth soldered in place with our braid wire, which is earthed only at one end. Okay, so now we're going to fit our plug back on, and we're going to tighten that up, our screwdriver. There we go, that's nice, and that looks really professional. And these are, I mean, the basic best mains plug you can buy without getting into the really audiophile ones, which I'll come to in another video as well. So that end is finished. So now this end, now we're going to be using our IEC plug. Okay, so this is our IEC plug here. This is the back housing. Okay, so we want to unscrew. No, we don't. It's already unscrewed to the right amount. So we've got this other little bit of plastic that just reduces the cable down to make it really tight in there, so it's not too loose. So basically, we will now need to push our wire through there. There we go. To there, like so. Right, okay, and now we need to chop down our earth slightly. Or actually, we don't really, that'll be fine, or we could chop a little bit off, I suppose. Just give a slight touch to that. It just needs to be round about the same size as that, maybe slightly longer. It's only a slight piece. So now we're going to strip off our the end of that, and we're going to solder that up as well. We've already soldered up the live and the neutral, so it's best to always solder the ends, because it means all of your wires all the wires are all connected to each other. Otherwise, when you clamp them down inside the clamp, one may not go in properly. Right, okay, so that's that. Actually, we're going to take a slight bit more off of there because it needs to be slightly longer. For some reason, these that's better. They keep moving about a lot, these wire strippers. Moving about again. What's the smallest one is there? Right, okay, so we're just going to strip that back off there. There we go. Right, okay, twist that round, and we're going to solder that off now as well. There we go. That's done nicely. Right, okay, now we've got our IEC plug here now at the inside of it, and we're just trying to see where the well, I know by that end, if you look there, you can tell that this is the neutral that side and the live that side, and obviously the earth at the top. So they usually are on the Furatech ones, they're usually indicated on the inside, but this one doesn't seem to be, but it's indicated on the outside, so you can still tell. So the live is that side, and then the neutral, so live is to the left as I'm looking at it, and the neutral's to the right, and obviously the earth at the top. Now we just need to undo our screw there. Put that open like that. Now you can see these have got a clamp in them. They're very good quality. They've got a clamp in there, and basically just undo it a bit, and then we'll slide our wire underneath it, and then we'll clamp that up. So we're going to do that with that one as well. As you can see there, it's very difficult with these small jobs to show you these close up. Same with that one. Okay, so we've got that. Now also we need our suppressor, our main suppressor here, which is going to go in between the live and the neutral to stop electrical spikes coming through the system. And also what it does is it lowers your noise floor as well. So we're going to chop a bit of that off there because these are a bit too long. Let's just check that out. We're going to offer that back up to there, make sure that it's that's about right. I think get that. We need to make sure that you've got enough room inside the housing at the back of the IEC plug, because we don't want it to sit in too far back. It needs to go a bit shorter than that still. So we'll chop another 5 mil or so off. Try to keep it fairly even. Right, okay, that should do the job now. So this is, again, this end is very fiddly again. So we need to make sure that we we get them in properly. So that is the live on the left from my side. So and there, and also the neutral. So that's that. So if you can see there, I've popped those in, and now we have to get our suppressor between them there. Okay, so what I suggest we do is we push down one side, so we'll get in the neutral first, and it's from the underneath, so it's fiddly, so we have to. So I'm going to hold that there like that, come from this side. Nip that up. Okay, so we're going to move to the other side. We need to tighten it up a bit more than that, but we'll just do that for now while we. Okay. Now that should be in place now nearly. We'll just pull our housing back a bit because that's in the way. That's better. You'll be able to see what I'm doing off now as well. So just push that over like that. There we go. And do the same from this side again. Tighten the screw up. That's that gone, that's okay. Now we're going to tighten up the other side again. That side, the neutral. That's it, that was nowhere near tight enough. Make sure that's all in place still. Right, okay. So that's tightened up quite nicely there. So now we're going to have to fit our earth wire in. So we're going to go up to the top there with that. I'll get that in the top there. Push that around the side of there. We'll have to just push it down the side of the suppressor there because the suppressor tends to get in the way. These have great clamps on these IEC plugs. They really clamp the wire in really well. That's why you don't need to solder in on these ones at these ends. These are superb. Right, okay, so as you can see now, we've got our neutral all tightened up, our live tightened up, and our earth wire in place. And we've got our suppressor in the middle there that we've connected to the live and the neutral, across the live and the neutral I should say. Right, okay, now that little piece, that other little piece of plastic there, I don't think I'm going to need that because our wire's quite thick anyway. So as I pull the back housing up, there's a little slot in the IEC plug there, and there's a little groove there, or that's on the housing, and it needs to go into the exact place. So as I take that up, you'll see it needs to slide up that slot. Where's it gone now? It's moved. There it is, just around here. There we go. Slide it in there. Slid in there nicely. Right, okay. So now all we need to do now is to screw the housing to the IEC plug. So I'm going to tighten that up now. Get that in the right place first, tighten that up, and then we're going to tighten the back part up so the cable is nice and tight in place and it doesn't move anywhere. Right, that's one side. Don't do it totally uptight yet. There's another screw there. Now don't try to over tighten these because there's a thread inside and it's only moulded into the plastic housing, and if you tighten it up too much you'll basically crack the back of the plug, which I've done many times on some really expensive IEC plugs. Just over tightened it very slightly and had to just order a back part of the plug again, the back housing again. You can buy these with a metal back housing that are actually even better, but so here we go. We just nip that up slightly there. We're not going to over tighten it, as I say. Just a little bit more there. Just double check it. Right, okay. So now we're going to screw down our clamp at the back here to clamp the wire up, the cable up, I should say now. Just go from one side to the other. Just do a little bit at a time and just. Okay, I started tightening that up, and just remember I forgot to say, make sure that the IEC plug is up that way and the top of the plug is that way, because then that's going to plug in and it's going to go up into your system like that. Okay, so make sure you don't have it that way up, because it will be, the wire will be twisted, and we don't really want to twist the wire too much. So we've got that in the right place, and we're just going to carry on tightening that up now. Okay, that's our AC plug tightened up, and it's in line with our plug. Right, okay, that's our mains cable totally made. This should give your equipment the best possible power. I recommend this type of power cord for a CD player, really. You could use it on a tuner as well. What I would say is for amplifiers, I'm going to be making another mains cable which is a bit more high powered. We'll be using a bigger conductor. We'll be using 4 conductors, two lives and 2 neutrals, and our earth wire as well. So so there you go. That is a professional looking cable. You couldn't buy one as well made as this. So I do make very good cables. So okay, thank you guys for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you like my videos, don't forget to press the like button and don't forget to subscribe as well. So thank you very much.